everyone. Today we got to play Saloon Tycoon.
For Western Wednesday.
Yep. And so, if you would like to see what other ones we're going to play next Wednesday, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you know you want to hang out with us. Robert, tell us more about the game.
Okay, Saloon Tycoon came out in 2015, published by Bandwriter Games. The Board Game Geek rating is 7.1. Plays 2 to 4 people, so not a solo variant to it. Designed by Robert Couch, art by Agnieszka Dabrajewska. Sorry for that. Again, published by Bandwriter Games. MSRP is $38.47, but you're going to have to search for it. I couldn't find it easily, so I had to kind of do a deep dive. And I found a couple of sites, but it wasn't easy initially.
Yeah, so we actually picked this game up at Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it and I fell in love, and me and Randy were dating at the time, so I got what I wanted. So this is one of those purchases.
Since we got married, she no longer gets what she wants.
So, let's dig in. Quality of pieces. So, basically the buildings are made up of good quality tile, cardboard with 4 wooden cubes or 3 wooden cubes depending on the size of the building. At the time, I remember thinking that this was so cool, the fact that this was a 3D mechanism of building essentially a Western town.
It still is.
I still really like it a lot. The cards, there is
texture.
texture.
Guys are putting your roofs on upside down, but
The cards are textured. I think they're actually really nice. And then you have, for the expansions, there is an expansion to this game, the Ranch expansion that adds actual horse meeples and cow meeples that I think are super cute. And then your meeples also look like a little cowboy, so I like the fact that they're shaped appropriately. As well as we got a add-on, which is actual metal gold nuggets.
In a real
burlap bag to put it in.
I thought that was really cool.
But the larger ones are plastic.
So the larger ones they didn't have a add-on for that replacement, so they said to use those as 5s, and that's what we've done. Overall quality of pieces, I think overall they did pretty good on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think there are a few amazing pieces. I would probably rate this at a 7.58. I'm just not sure which one. What do you guys think?
7.58. That's a fine number.
No, 7.5.
7.59 maybe.
Or 8. So what do you guys think? I'm right in between. I don't know. What did you guys think?
I think math is hard.
Don't. Come on, tell me.
I think it's probably about a 7.5. I think that's where I'm at too on it. I don't go down to the detail level that you go down to, but yeah, I think 7.5 is fair.
I think 7.5 is a good score.
Okay. All right. So moving on to theme, I forgot how this game was.
Yeah, they're
Randy.
They're both jerks.
Randy's a jerk.
No, Randy is a brilliant entrepreneur who was able to win the game because of his mad skills.
No, because you kept stealing my people. That's why.
That's what that translates to, yes.
So...
Bad as Soup Shooter already shot him. Pew pew.
But But I think theme-wise, though, it does feel like a Western. You are building a Western town. You do have a ranch. You do have different citizens. There's information about those citizens based on the buildings that you build. And I think there is that little bit of take that you want to see in a little bit that you like to see in the Western kind of thing.
There's a lot.
The only thing, I almost wish there were event cards, though, at the beginning of the round to kind of give you... I think that's the one thing that was missing for theme for me is an event kind of, this is what's happening, bullies came into town, ruined something. Or...
I'm kind of surprised the train's not involved in this. That'd be kind of cool if there was like a train track.
I could see that being another expansion.
And maybe making deliveries or, you'd be able to go rob the train, stuff like that. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So I think this has a really good base for theme. Mm-hmm. I think they could have done some things that could have made it better. So I'm actually at a 7, probably another 7.5 on this one because there's really good elements. It does get you in the mood for a Western. but there are things that they could have done to make it better. What about you guys?
I really like the art on the player boards. I think
I
it's
do
really
too.
cool. It looks like an old town, old western town. The 3D element of the buildings is really a neat
Yes.
touch.
I think the artwork on the cards is
Artwork
nice
on the
too.
cards is pretty good too. I like how they've incorporated the buildings into the game with thematics with the
Mhm.
games. I wish the characters had more abilities. The characters like
Most of them don't.
most
have
of them
any
don't.
abilities.
You
They're
just get victory points.
score.
For it.
Now I got like all the outlaws through most of the game until they decided, oh, we need the outlaws, and they took them from me.
No, you
Oh.
gave them. You volunteered them.
And then you took them, gave them back, and then took them back. So call it what you will. But the villains do negative stuff. So it reduces your income or reduces the amount of animals that you can hold in your pens, things like that.
They're mostly designed so that there isn't a runaway leader or somebody
Right.
that just takes off early and gains things, because it penalizes you for getting too far ahead of the other players.
Yes. So, and like one of them is the first person that has 10 gold at their turn, or the first person who gets a citizen. So there are things that mitigate running ahead, which as a catch-up mechanism, I kind of understand. And I like the fact that they're outlaws. That again adds to the theme. So what did you give it a score as for theme?
I hadn't yet.
That's why I'm asking you. It's
I-
more of an implication for you to tell people what that score is.
Okay, I want to keep them in suspense. No, I'll give it probably a 8 is what I'm thinking, as far as incorporating the feel of a Western.
I was going to give it an 8 as well because I do like the artwork. I like the boards as well, and I like the claim cards. I thought those were kind of neat.
Mhm.
Where if you do certain
was
things, then you get to be able to get some extra bonus points, which adds the flavor because all the claim cards have the flavor text involved. So
Yeah.
I like that as well.
Yeah, my one grievance with the claim cards is the secret claim cards. They're if you can get really royally hosed on them. I got 4 at the beginning, all dependent on special buildings or special people being in your possession. And if somebody else builds that building, you're out of luck. There's no bonuses that I got that were based upon conditions.
How's that any different than any other worker placement game?
Most of them have conditions that you can meet that are not restricted to
Some.
one character.
Some, not
or
all.
one building, and if that building gets snagged before you get a
Well,
chance to
I mean,
build
the
it.
characters you can bribe.
Yeah.
Now, I will say it's to have like one of the buildings that you better just hurry up and build that
Yeah.
sucker
That,
as fast as you
or
can.
there's it's not much, but there are ways to mitigate it. There's a building that allows you to copy a character that someone else has. That's how I was able to complete my secret claim card. So I didn't care about it because I was able to copy it anyway. But if I didn't get to build that building, then I would have been hosed.
Yeah, so I think there's ways to mitigate it. You just have, really, if you have something on your secret claim card, you better get it, and you better get it fast
Right.
because it's just nigh and impossible. All right, so let's
Rulebook.
move on to Rulebook. So
So the rule books
been a
are
while.
what I appreciate about the rule book is they're short. These
They
are
are
very simple to read, and they have fun like flavor text
Mhm.
in them. As far as it sounds like a person who's from the old west might be reading or narrating some of it.
Yeah. So
Especially
the world book's pretty.
Yeah, it's specifically about the characters, the outlaws in particular. It's multiple pages just because we have multiple expansions for it. But the base game is only 8 pages long, and it's large print. And they got a big example on the back. It's very straightforward how to play this. It's not a real complex
It's
game.
But there's plenty of strategy
Yeah.
involved.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to detract from the complex, the gameplay. I'm just saying it's a very simple game to learn. And then it's amazing because I somehow every time I forget how to play this every time we get it out because it's usually few and far between when we play it.
And I don't know why I kind of.
But yeah, I know. I don't understand why this is another one of those games that gets forgotten on the shelf. And I think it's because it's so attacky. Because we get it out and it's like, oh yeah, that's why we don't play it, because we attack each other and then we get mad at each other.
You think
That's
it has
why.
to do with the other thousands of games in the house?
Well, it has that too. That's Heather, our off-camera presence today.
Hey.
So yeah, I personally think this is probably a 9 as far. I mean, it's easy to read. It gets the point across. There's no confusion about any of it.
Mhm.
and it's got really nice cheat sheet cards.
Oh, the cheat sheets are nice.
That walk you through all the important stuff that you need on a turn-by-turn basis.
This is my friend.
They actually gave us one too because they added some to it for an expansion, so they gave a bigger one with the expansion.
Yeah.
So you can use one on one side, the other on the other side. And
It ended up working out. I will say this right here. I am agreeing with you. Is definitely 9 worthy because it has everything I need to win to play.
Well, to play, I won. So obviously, it didn't have quite what you needed to win.
I don't. You never. Let's keep going, folks. Let's talk. Well, okay, let's talk about gameplay. So gameplay. So first is the income step. So depending on how many tiles that you have on your board, each tile gets you 1 income. And then you also get 1 range point
If you're playing
with the ranch expansion. Okay, so that's the income phase.
Which
so you
is
get money.
literally called the ranch expansion. So.
And then you get an action step. So there are certain what they call tycoon activities that you can only do one of during your turn, which is get 2 gold, build a tile, draw 2 tycoon cards, play a tycoon card, or bribe a character. That's what we talked about is about stealing players.
And tycoon cards,
characters.
for the record, are basically cards that have special action on you. They're some of which give you money or gold or whatever. Some
ranch
give you
points
additional actions to let you play more. They give you different things. So, but you have only a small handful of 3 you start the game with, and then you have to accumulate.
But you can take a turn to draw 2, or
two.
there's buildings when you complete a building. But we'll move that. So. And then there are free actions though. So you can do as many free actions as you want to do. One of them is to stake an open claim. So at the beginning of the game, there are claims that are kind of open for anyone to get. So if you meet those requirements, you can grab that, and that is considered a free action. You can also supply your tiles. So initially, when you buy the tile, it, for an example, is empty of the cubes. So for you to complete that tile, you have to pay 2 gold coin and put them in the squares that are allotted. And once you complete all of those squares, then you complete the building. Once you complete the building, you get the bonus of that building, and it says what it is. For example, this one says 8 gold. There's another one that lets you take another action. There's others that give you 4 resource cubes. So there's a bunch of different things that you get once you complete that tile. And then you can discard tycoon cards for 1 ranch point. So if you've got a tycoon card that you don't particularly like or that's not useful to you, you can discard that and get more ranch points, which the ranch points help you build more items on your actual ranch. And then you can sell your animals for gold, or you can, like I said, develop your ranch. So you take those ranch points and either build buildings or get animals for those. And then finally is the end step. So you basically check to see if there's still cubes left, because that's the timer in this game. And then that's it. So,
and guess who wins? Person with the most points.
Yeah, person with the most points.
Oh, well, that's me too.
Correct. This time.
Yeah, he won by stealing one of my characters. That's it. That's the only reason why he won. Because he was last player. Because he sucks. Okay, so it is attacky. I always forget how attacky this game is. But it's still kind of fun. I still like it. It gives you you still get grumpy over it though.
Like when any of these other, you got to go in expecting that, and then if you forget about it and then you get reminded, it's a little hard to deal with at first, but it's it's a game, so it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. What do you think?
I enjoy it. I just like everyone else get grumbly when things go against me, but then again, I then turn around and find a way to turn it to my advantage later on. That's what I do.
Yep. So let's give it a score, guys. What do you think?
I think it's a solid game. It's not one of my favorites, but I'd play it anytime anybody brings it out. So I'll give it an 8.
What do you think?
That's probably where I am on this one too. Is an 8. I think that it's it's a fun. It's not a real heavy game. I would say it's a light to medium.
And closer
game.
to even to the lighter side, I think it is really easy to teach.
It's got a lot of pieces to it, but it's not too complex. I'd say probably a light to medium is right where it falls. And I can appreciate that, and it is pretty thematic. It does have the Old West feel.
Yeah, I'm giving this an 8 too. I'm really glad that you decided to buy it for me at our first Gen Con.
So, and they both deserve tumbleweeds. So I was not happy. So,
We all had our grievances with this game, but the fact is that
it's still fun.
it's still fun, and it's something that we've talked about. And that's things. There are things that happened in the last game that I remember that that came up. So, a bunch of different things that I really enjoy. I agree with you guys on an 8 on this. Any other comments before we say goodbye?
I think we hit the happy trails. We have to hit the road.
Oh.
Right off into the sunset.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It's
Oh
not
my
saying
gosh.
goodbye.
The dad jokes are strong.
Adios.
Bye con Dios.
All right, guys.
Yeah, what do you think?
Bye.
Bye.